June was basically a disaster for the box office. Yeah, F1 gave it a little push right at the end, but overall, one of the worst Junes we've seen in decades, not counting those pandemic years. After spring gave us a surprise hit with Sinners, you'd think studios would plan things better. But no, barely anything good came out. Half of what did totally bombed, and honestly, nobody seemed interested. I'm not even counting Disney's live-action remakes like Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. They always find ways to print money off kids. I'm talking about the regular movies, and June had some huge disasters. So let's look at June 2025's biggest box office bombs. Look, it's simple. No one wants a John Wick movie without John Wick. Ana de Armas is great, sure, but that's just how it is. Ballerina opened pretty soft, just $24 million. Not catastrophic, but definitely lower than Lionsgate hoped, especially considering this is their big attempt at turning John Wick into a billion-dollar franchise universe. Then second weekend, things got worse. Huge 65% drop, only made around $9 million. It's obvious people just weren't sold on seeing it. Honestly, it's not even bad, it just doesn't justify its own existence. Audiences clearly see Wick movies for Keanu, not Ana de Armas. Mark Harris said if you want to make serious money, maybe don't name your hardcore action movie Ballerina. Even Reddit got into it, one guy saying, "How would your average moviegoer even know it's a badass action flick from that title alone?" Exactly. Tom Lashley from Gower Street Analytics says movie titles rarely decide everything, but admits Ballerina didn't really sell it. The studio even started desperately slapping the John Wick name everywhere, trying to get people interested. Usually not a great sign when you start doing stuff like that. Big mistake here. They tried doing a Terminator 2 with Megan, turning a horror franchise into an action movie. Totally backfired. The original Megan did over $30 million opening weekend. This sequel? Barely hit $10 million. Funny enough, fans actually liked it better. CinemaScore and Rotten Tomatoes audience ratings are both slightly higher than the first one, but so few people showed up, it doesn't even matter. Producer Jason Blum admits they overestimated Megan's appeal. "We all thought Megan was like Superman. We could do anything to her. We could change genres. We could turn her from a bad guy into a good guy, and we classically overthought how powerful people's engagement was, really, with her." They even moved the sequel from a smaller January horror slot into big summer tentpole territory. Huge miscalculation. Releasing it the same weekend as Apple's huge action movie F1, just before Jurassic World and a new Superman, yeah, this thing is definitely never making that money back. This is officially Pixar's worst ever opening weekend. Elio made just $21 million domestically, barely anything overseas. Disney and Pixar spent about $150 million on this. It'll be lucky to get even half of that back. Last summer's Inside Out 2 seemed to fix Pixar's box office issues, but clearly those problems never really went away. Blame former Disney CEO Bob Chapek. During COVID, he decided to dump 3 Pixar originals, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, straight onto Disney Plus instead of waiting. Basically trained audiences to expect original Pixar films at home, saving theaters only for the big sequels. Now Pixar's kinda trapped, making mostly sequels to keep profits up with just a couple originals planned. Former Pixar editor Sarah Ligatich even said a bunch of creatives walked out after studio changes ruined what started out as a great project. The exodus of talent after that cut was really indicative of how unhappy a lot of people were that they had changed and destroyed this beautiful work. And even Pete Docters basically admitted Pixar needs to find out what audiences actually want before they even know themselves. It's a rough time, and all we can do is try to make movies that I think are led by us. Otherwise, as he put it, we'll end up with Toy Story 27. Just a reminder, Toy Story 5's currently in development with 2026 release planned. You'd think Stephen King's story, Mike Flanagan directing, Tom Hiddleston and Mark Hamill starring. Easy winner, right? Not exactly. It surprised people by winning the TIFF People's Choice Award last year, and Neon bought it immediately, but then weirdly decided to wait nearly a year to release it, missing Oscar season completely. Usually, TIFF winners get huge Oscar buzz. 12 of the last 14 TIFF winners scored Best Picture noms. 4 even won, but now Chuck joins that unlucky club of TIFF winners ignored by Oscars. Reviews weren't even bad. Metacritic gives it a decent 68, Flanagan fans liked it, but the actual release totally bombed. Opening weekend was barely 200,000 in the US, only 1 million overseas total. Honestly, feels like people just don't want these sentimental movies anymore. Tom Hanks made one recently, A Man Called Otto. Same story, no one cared. Neon completely blew this opportunity. They should have released it last fall when buzz was high. Instead, now everyone's basically forgotten about it. Pierce Brosnan and Samuel L. Jackson in a Western action movie. Sounds pretty good, right? Yeah, except nobody even knew it existed. Roadside Attractions quietly dumped this one into theaters. Barely made $1 million. With those two big names, that's pretty pathetic. To be fair, the movie's pretty terrible. Generic script, messy plot, critics totally hated it. Rotten Tomatoes is sitting at 33% from critics. The Hollywood Reporter review says even Brosnan and Jackson, both decent enough here, can't save this formulaic mess of stolen gold, double crosses, and boring dialogue. Honestly, forgettable is putting it nicely. Emma Mackey from Sex Education stars in this, based on Deborah Levy's novel, directed by Rebecca Lenkiewicz. Premiered at Berlin Film Festival, competed for the Golden Bear, and that's literally the most interesting thing about this movie, besides maybe how badly it bombed. It made only $42,000. Yeah, not even close to half 100,000. Critics tore it apart, 30% positive reviews, calling it weirdly dull, emotionally disconnected, visually nice but completely empty. It's about a grad student caring for her disabled mother, having this uncertain relationship with another woman. Sounds decent on paper, sure, but critics basically said it's impossible to care about anyone in this movie because it never lets you get close enough. Just vague, dull, and forgettable all around. $42,000 kinda proves the point.